What's up, and welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar, episode 143. Woo
Let's
woo!
go.
Yes, we are coming to you live on Monday night, and if you're watching this live, awesome, join us in the live chat. We also have a guest, so you can ask some questions. And if you're watching later, no worries, comment down below. So let's get into some introductions right away. Hello, I am Carrie Lane.
And I'm Katie Cullen.
And welcome our special guest.
Hi,
Woo!
Cory Yee here, voice actor and other stuff. So I'm sure we'll talk more about that, though.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
And we're talking solo leveling, so thus our special guest is Ahn Sangmin. There we go.
Yes.
And we'll be talking into working on solo leveling. Stick around as well. We have other anime news, and then we'll go into episode 3 as well as recommendations for other stuff to check her out. So stick around for all of that. Already in live chat, we got Untitled on Purpose has a wave. Woo! All right. So let's get right into it. Cory, how did you first get involved with this project, and did you have any idea about the enormity that it was going to become?
No, so I was cast originally on the game, right? So that was, for Solo Leveling Arise. And then they brought so many of us over to the anime dub, and that was directed by Caitlin Glass, who I'm sure you've mentioned before. And like, we had a great time. It was really fun. I'm not like the biggest role on that, of course, but like, it's been really cool to see it like just come to this large place and like reach so many people, and it is a really cool show. So and of course, like the manhwa was like really popular too. So like it's always cool to be part of something that has a bit of a legacy behind it, and then you're just kind of jumping in on whatever you get, right? So it's been cool.
It's fun to come into something that has a pre-established fan base.
Yes, exactly. And of course, Crunchyroll is like, probably the most popular way to like view anime. So it's always cool to be coming back to Crunchyroll. So yeah.
Now, you said you started in the game and then came over to the anime. Do you play the same role in the game, or was there a little bit of role swapping?
Same character, and basically the same story beats. So it was kind of cool to like see the differences, because of course, like the game, like we don't see anything. We have no visuals, but the anime dubbing wise, we have everything. Like we have the original Japanese, and we are, of course, basing most of our stuff off of what they're doing and honoring that, and then bringing whatever we do to that as well, but mostly sticking with what they did. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that factors into your approach to the character. What other factors do you bring in? How did you find the voice?
Yeah, I mean, just for my guy, like he's kind of this slightly older than I am, probably maybe in his like 40s, this office kind of bureaucrat, but he cares about his job, and that was one thing we wanted to make sure he had some genuineness. And but he does want to make money, and he sees this potential in Jinu. So like it's just like for my guy, like if you haven't heard him, he's kind of sounds more like down here, and he's like really more focused on getting the most money he can. Oh, it's gonna be a great payday. So he gets excited, and then once we bring him up there in his happiness, we get to knock his hubris down by putting him in his place, and I think that's the most fun that we got to have with him.
Well, something we had on real quick on the last episode, it was something really fun with his character of him very much like knowing he was right about Jinu and not giving away the secrets right away. Like he is the sniffer. He's able to sniff things out and get information, but he holds those cards pretty close to his chest.
He wants it for him and his company. He doesn't want other people to know, because Jinu is so special, right? So like, yeah, that's always been his thing. Like he wants to get ahead. So yeah.
And I'd love to talk a little bit about the hubris scene, because this was closer to the end of season 1 with the just tell me a little bit about how did you approach that? Was that a lot of fun for you to do? Just because it was a lot of fun to watch. Let's be real.
Yeah, well, like so much of my guy's dialogue is like, oh, well, these sea gates cost this much, and this other babble that like, so you have to contextualize that in the emotion and as much as possible, because we just don't get that much time, right, for these more supporting characters who just don't have a ton of screen time. We don't have time to go days after days of like learning everything. So we try to do the best we can. But for this particular character, it's like, okay, we know we're dealing with someone who's way out of his designated league, right? Like the whatever rank he was E rank or something. It's like, okay, we know he's better than that. How much better? And like, how much can we make this like a bet for this guy? And like the original actor did such a great job of like portraying that like, oh, like we know he's good. How good is he though, really? And then of course the visuals of like, you know, he can like stealth and like he does the little cut thing and like we're like we get some funny moments in this like restaurant bar whatever, and it's I don't know, I think really the show does a great job of giving us what we need so that we can play off that and live up to what they've established. So sometimes it's not that easy, right? Like sometimes you don't get that from the original Japanese, or you just don't like know for sure because of the way that they deliver it or whatever. So it's not always completely clear. So yeah.
So you had great material to work with already.
I think so for my character. Cause like I said, like we don't get like a ton of information, but we get enough where it's like, okay, we know what to do with this guy, at least to honor the original.
Okay. Yeah.
Has there been any moments that have surprised you with this character or anything that stood out to you?
I mean, you know, like you were saying, like he's starting to like be right about, you know, Jinwoo and all that. And once you start seeing like what happens in the movie and all that, it's like I think it's pretty cool because there are suddenly other eyes without spoiling. Like, it's just like, there's other eyes on Jinwoo and like, I'm still trying to do the best, but also like be good to him. Like, just like I'm not trying to take advantage of him. I just want to be in his good graces because I know he's that special. And like usually you get these characters who have ulterior motives. And as far as I know, like I'm trying to play it as genuinely as possible because I respect him. You know, I'm not trying to just use him. So like, I think that has been a cool like relation for me. Like, it's like, okay, like I'm not trying to be a bad guy. I'm just trying to get a win-win for everyone, hopefully. So,
you know, that's a good way to describe it. Like he's a scout. He recognizes talent. He knows how to find it. And this is one that he's found, but he doesn't want it to go to another firm.
Right. Exactly.
My team.
Yeah. And we pay the price for that, you know, trying to get something good out of this situation. And Jinwoo kind of screws us, but we're like, you know what? He's pretty cool anyway. We'll let it slide. Here's the big bill now. Okay, you deal with that.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, it's my problem now. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, but it's a really fun character, honestly, and I hope we get to see him again.
I mean, continuing down that vein, Pie in the Sky, where would you like to see his arc go? And we're not talking spoiler territory or anything for anyone in the chat going, is this
hypothetical?
No, I truly know nothing.
Where would you like to see it go?
I know Jack, so don't take my word for anything. It doesn't mean Jack.
No,
but
we're
like,
having fun here.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like, I'm not expecting this guy to like actually get cool powers. So I want him to get lots of money. I want to see him actually succeed, and maybe he doesn't get to take Jinwoo as part of his team, but I hope that he gets a business venture that really actually pays off, because so far it hasn't, I think, but he has gotten at least a positive relationship with Jinwoo. So that's pretty cool, at least. So now I just want the monetary side.
Yeah, he's worked hard, you know, he needs to be paid off. Yeah.
I don't think it's too much to ask for.
A reward for all that hard work.
Exactly. I think that's reasonable.
He got threatened in a cafe. He should get compensated for that.
Yeah, it's totally 100%.
Looking over real quick in the chat, we also have Noah Laura says hello.
Howdy.
Has the recording process for Solo Leveling been your standard process, or anything that has stood out to you, or what's it like working with Caitlin?
Yeah, I mean, so Caitlin's over in Texas usually, or at least not in California where I am, and we have a studio here that we record at for that stuff, and we kind of link in with them, and then they, we mishmash and all that. So, but that's honestly, that's how a lot of anime is done. Even if people are local, sometimes the director is going to be remote. It's just easier that way. So that's just how we usually operate, and this hasn't really been that different from the usual, so, which is good. You want it to work normally, but yeah, it's pretty standard project.
It's good to know what to expect from your job.
Yes, absolutely, because there are a lot of things we don't, right? Like so much of VO, like for those who don't know, it's like we don't even know necessarily what character we're going to play or what characters, because like I'm pretty sure I did some utility on this, or maybe not, but we usually do additional characters, right? Like that one guy's like, hey, what are you doing? Like just in the background or whatever. And we have to fill in those things and make sure they don't sound too much like our other characters if they're close together in time. So that's a usual thing. And we just don't know. So we have to be ready to hit that. And I didn't know I was going to be talking about expensive Seagate things that we're trying to do with this other techno babble that we wouldn't understand otherwise. So like, it's just, we have to learn it on the fly. So it's always like that.
You didn't know you'd be getting the exposition.
I do so much exposition. It's, it's so much.
We are the business characters.
It's just the way it has to happen sometimes.
Has there been any like concepts or words in this exposition for you that you're like, wait, what? Break this down for me.
Well, just like, when you think about like saying the word, just as an example, Seagate, like it's when you just see it alone, it's like, okay, it's a Seagate. But like when you're like comparing it to an E-gate, you have to say a Seagate, not E. And instead of like just like, it's weird emphasis stuff. And you have to think about that, because if you say it in a certain tone, it doesn't make sense. Right. And we do work on that, and we make mistakes too, but like we do have to think about that, because this is something that our characters are talking about on a daily basis. They wouldn't just say it wrong. And it's like so minor, especially in English, because it's not like there's specific intonations based on the word or phrase. It's intonations based on our like syntax and our grammar and like what we're talking about. So that's always a challenge for something where we're saying a bunch of words that we don't normally say. So
you have to have the right emphasis for in-character stuff, and you also have to have it delineated so the audience gets it.
Exactly. It's both of those things. So yeah, it's always a little challenging when you're dealing with specific techno things, because if you're just like talking about basic emotions, like we all pretty much get that. But the techno babble stuff has to really be right, otherwise it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you're laying out the world building.
Yeah, exactly. Exposition. Yeah.
If you could be any rank hunter, what would you want to be, and what do you think you would be?
Oh, I'd be like an F. I'm terrible. I'm so like, I would be Ahn Sangmin. I'd be in an office doing terrible office work. As far as like physical fighting. But like, of course I'd want to be pretty cool, but I don't think I'm not like that A+, S tier, whatever stuff. I would be like a C at best, I think.
C's it's a good strong one
exactly.
though too. They're not too bad.
I'm gonna be there, but the thing is, like, people don't typically actually go up in rank, right? Like they usually stay, and Jinu's like the exception here.
Yeah.
And that's what makes him cools, right? So like, man, that kind of stinks. I want to be better.
You're like, curses. No.
Look, as someone who plays a lot of like RPG and like, linear progression games, it's like, man, like that's the whole point, is like getting better and getting cooler. So it's like, man, this stinks. Well,
you
Jinu's
want the
cool.
better equipment. You want the better, like you like the ding when the number goes up.
Exactly. I would like to be able to progress to being that, but that's not our world, so it's okay.
What are some games you're playing right now that you're enjoying?
Yeah.
So I've been kind of doing I wouldn't say backlog, but like, okay, my comfort games are typically like StarCraft co-op and like Hearthstone, and just like, I'm just chilling out with these games, some Blizzard. I do love Blizzard games, but like, I was visiting Cyberpunk for the first time because I'd not played it at launch because it had such like, it's like, oh, this game doesn't work.
Yeah,
that's what people
revisiting it after it got fixed.
Yeah, but like, it's like, oh, actually, it's great now. So it's pretty awesome. So like, I've been playing stuff like that, and I mean, that's I haven't been playing as many games because it's been challenging to do so. But I do want to do some more comfy and survival games. Like those have always been fun. Like Ark and Valheim are some of my favorites. So like, I love games like that, and they do have some linear progression. So I gotta be able to level up and get better and kill bigger dinosaurs and stuff.
The ding when the number goes up.
Yeah, exactly. I did play a lot of World of Warcraft back in the day. It's like a ex-girlfriend. Like, it's like, oh, we had some good times, but never again.
But I can't go back. Can't do it.
Can't. No, cannot.
I feel that.
And then anything else you want to add of working on the show, or your experience, or even fan reception too, of witnessing that, of how it's really just blown up and become so popular.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because like I do conventions for some of my other more popular things because like obviously Ahn Sangmin is not the most popular character because he's some dude and that's totally fine.
There's
but like
always someone who loves some dude, though.
Yeah, that's true. But like I've had a lot of like other shows that like I have been invited for games. And but people do come up and they're like, hey, you're on Solo Leveling. That's awesome. So like it's always cool to like, because I'm not invited specifically for that, but like when people notice it like on my banner or like they like IMDb me or like look it up on Behind the Voice Actors, whatever, they find out. And then they're like, hey, that's really cool. And like, thank you for doing that. And like, it's always such a blessing, honestly, to hear fans just be like, hey, like I love doing this, even if like I'm not like selling like prints or something for it. Like it doesn't matter. It's always cool to have some kind of validation for what we do because I'm just like very grateful that I get to do what I do. So it's always really amazing to hear that.
Oh, what's been a favorite deep cut that a fan's been like, oh my gosh, I love doing this, and maybe it is a smaller part but they were excited about it?
That's a tough one because like most people of course come for a specific reason or something. Fair. Like, you know, some of the other crunchy stuff that I do is like Bungo Stray Dogs and To Your Eternity is like To Your Eternity is like my favorite thing that I've worked on for anime. Nice. Like it's so deep and like I'm just glad I got to be a part of it. So anytime anyone brings that up, the other anime that like from last year that I wish that more people cared about is Code Geass Rose of the Recapture. And I hope that people get a chance to check it out because I think we did a really great job and I'm really proud of the work we did. But I had a fan who like got all this merch from Japan and like brought over. She's like, you're like the perfect Ash for this. It was just the most wholesome thing ever. And she was cosplaying as Rose, who is like my character's brother, and it's like, oh god.
So she's in it to win it.
Oh yeah, totally. She had like 5 things like, you got to take free stuff, there's no way like you can't.
Oh yeah.
And she gave me like a little plushie of him, so it's like, oh, that's so those really do matter because not everyone sees what you do, right? And it just depends. Sometimes it just falls through the cracks and you never know exactly why. So yeah, there's a lot of like random things. Like this is just more funny than anything, but I had it was a kid like probably 12 years old maybe with his mom, and he really loved Lightyear the movie, and I have 3 words in that movie. I say like prepare for hyperlaunch as additional voices, and that's it. Out of a 90-minute movie I have 3 words, and like whatever, who cares? But it's like he really cared, and he was like, I want you to sign this thing that I have. It's like, of course, like that's amazing. So like that's you never really know. Sweet. You never know when some little random thing you do might impact someone, and that is something I will forever be grateful for.
Nice. And what would you like to let the fans know you're working on, or anything else you'd like to share before we sign off for you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's just a few of the other shows. I've mentioned a few, so like please go watch those. But like you should definitely check out Tokyo Revengers as well. That's on Disney Hulu. And like just keep an eye out for anything else. Like I do social posts, but like I have no idea when stuff ever comes out. I was mentioning to you both that I never remember or never know because they don't tell us. But just like as a reminder for people, like video game union actors are still on strike. So we are still striking for a lot of titles. And it's just like really important for us to be fighting for like protection and like consent and compensation for like AI stuff, and to have like just a better work environment and everything for that. So like that's the biggest thing that we're fighting for. So yeah, I mean, we're just gonna keep fighting. So like if your favorite games are like not getting voiced or whatever, then now you know why.
How can people best support you on the strike?
It's kind of tough because it's not as like vocal as like some of the other strikes have been. And I think the most important thing for me personally is just that people know and understand what we're fighting for and why. And I'll just say like for myself, like AI is like the biggest potential existential issue of our lives in general because of the power of like large language models, but also for the creative arts in particular and how people use it and abuse it. you know, it's not the technology, it's the people who will use it for bad intent. And that's the thing that we're fighting for the most, is like trying to have at least reasonable rules in place, because we're not asking to ban it, even though I personally would like that, but that's not what we're asking for. Yeah. But like, but just to be like, hey, like, we're trying to meet you halfway on this, please be reasonable. And they want to keep abusing us. So like, we have to keep fighting. And I think just in your, you know, if you are a person, a fan or whatever, who's like, I want to keep hearing voice acting, whether that's Japanese, English, whatever language, it doesn't matter. All of it could be potentially under threat. So like, we are trying to do our best just to be like, hey, there needs to be a line in the sand where we say this is unacceptable, you know? Yeah. So just keep fighting, just keep fighting in whatever you do. And I mean, like, drawing artists, podcasters, you know, anyone who does anything creative, anything could potentially be under threat for them, anything creative, among other things. So it's important for us just to be aware of it and not just use it without thinking about where it comes from.
And also the environmental impact of it all.
Yes, that's also just like, it seems like a no-brainer. That's like, this is just bad. But whatever.
People don't know how much water AI uses.
I know. It's insane.
Being out in California right now.
100%. It's crazy. So that is another huge thing to think about. It's like, on top of all the moral issues of it, it's like, this physically has an impact on our society.
Yeah.
So totally. A very good point.
And you were mentioning how sometimes you don't know when projects are coming out, or at least you can't say anything, so people should follow you.
Yes, that's my Twitter. I'll just say Twitter. I think
we say that.
It's Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. I stream on Twitch under the same name, and then also like Blue Sky is CoryYee.com, and Instagram is Cory.Yee, because @Cory Yee was taken, and I still don't know by who, because it doesn't display any information. It's very frustrating.
Cool.
Such is life.
She's got someone squatting on the name.
I know. I'm wondering if it's me on some email that I don't know about. I've tried many times to restore it. I don't know what happened. So,
well, people can find you online that way and keep up to date with what you've been up to. Thank you so much for talking with us, and it was so fun to have you on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me, and take care, everyone.
Yes,
yeah, you too. Thank you so much. He's great. He's great.
And there are no small characters in any show. Every character is awesome. I was so excited to talk to some of the, you know, like a character that I really enjoyed that character. We talked to him last week, and he's like, you know what? I am not telling any secrets. I'm like, oh, he has Jinyu's back. He's like, I'm not sharing secrets.
He's fun to watch, and we'll get into that when we do our solo leveling recap in just a little bit.
Yes. But one thing real quick, of which we kind of were addressing it, because now the Solo Leveling Season 2 dub is coming out. That came out first, or the first of it came out on Saturday.
Yep.
On this past Saturday.
You've upended the order now.
Yes. So episode 1 of English dub for Solo Leveling Season 2, Arise from the Shadow. It premiered on the 18th. So if you have friends who are like, oh, I want to watch the dub, that is what is available to you, and you can go check that out. And then if you're new here and you're checking out, or you're going back rewatching, welcome. Yes. And that's that on that news. I was like, wait. I was excited. I'm like,
we just.
Oh, well, this one, we talked about this before, but again, maybe in case we missed it, Solo Leveling did win the Astra TV Award for 2024 for Best Anime Series. I feel we covered that before, but so there are the characters who were in it before: Alex Lee, Patrick Seitz, Rebecca Wang, Emmy Lowe are returning in their roles, and then there is additional new characters, or not new characters, but voices on the show. So stick around, because maybe we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
No guarantees.
No guarantees. Ever.
The only guarantee is that the dub started this past weekend. Thank you, Crunchyroll, for telling us.
Yes. And also, real quick, looking back over the chat, we did say Morningstar Bam says hi, hello, and Giga Derek's still here, still very dead. Well, we're glad you're here, though.
Fix that.
And
come back to life. We need you.
Yeah. Morningstar Bamf did say it's staying warm here in Texas. All right, good. It is pretty chilly here in California. Different parts of it, though. Depends where. And B rank for me, my luck, I'll be support. Hey, support's a good role, though, too. And
yeah, I'm not gonna have a hunter rank. I would not even. Nope.
You're like
We don't blip on the radar. Just nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Be a normie. You're just a regular person.
Not for me.
That's fine.
Nope.
I'm like, ooh, what would I?
Ass job.
I don't know. That's a good question. What would I be of? It would be fun, but I think I would want to be one where it's a higher level because I don't want it to be like you automatically are going to die in a group. You know, like.
Yeah, no, now that they've introduced like, hey, red gates, I'm like, nope.
You're all, hell
Good
no.
night, everybody. Done. Done.
Get there says
Army choir. Yeah, I'll be a dead mage. It'll be great.
That's a joke from last week, in case you missed it.
Yeah.
But yes, so that continuing on with news.
Yes. For those of you who may have missed the news for the past month, Southern California is still very much on fire. We did talk about this extensively last week, and the winds are back for the next 24 hours. So it's we're doing great out here in Los Angeles. However, the outpouring of support has been absolutely phenomenal, locally, nationally, internationally. It has been frankly fantastic to see people come together, and Tokyo Pop has informed us they are contributing to the Bink Foundation's SoCal Fire Relief. The donation will be matched by the Book Industry Charitable Foundation to help booksellers, retailers, and employees impacted by the Los Angeles wildfire disaster, and they are contributing $10,000, which is honestly great. And it's good to hear this, and it's good to hear that it's book focused. There are a lot of overall charities, and then there are a lot of very specific charities. And so, for one, it's thank you, Tokyo Pop, for doing this at all, for the support, for the contribution. And thank you for bringing up Bink, the Book International Charitable Foundation, to the public to let us know that this exists and that this is also something that you can contribute to if you want your contribution to be less general and more focused on a specific industry or area or group of people. So thank you, Tokyo Pop. If you are interested to hear more about it, it's Bink, B-I-N-C, foundation.org. Yeah, so Bink is still matching. Make sure to check that out if you're interested. And if you're local to Los Angeles, if you're local to Southern California and you want to contribute, there are places looking for physical donations. They list on their social media which ones. There are also always places looking for volunteers because the outpouring of physical donations has been colossal and now they need manpower to help. If you are not in Southern California and you would like to contribute, there are many financial ways to do that, from individual GoFundMes from individuals who have been affected to larger charities that are helping out, like the one we just listed here. And if you're the sort of person who would like to put a little manpower into spite and also help, there have been cases of landlords price gouging, and there is currently a spreadsheet going around. So if you take a look at Zillow listings, take a look at apartments.com, take a look at them and find that it is above the threshold, you can put that information on the spreadsheet. You can also report it online to, I can't remember the exact URL, but it's continued with that. So there are many, many ways to help the people that are affected kind of, regain what they've lost and eventually help rebuild. So yes, thank you again, Tokyo Pop, for your donation and for letting people know about Bink. And thank you to everyone who has helped the people of Southern California recover, because these fires are no joke. One of them was the size of Manhattan. So
I realized I was adding that I saw a musician one fun, but I think I was on mute. So
you've been on mute this entire time.
I was like, I know. So I was like, wait a minute.
There have been
speaking of different
ones.
Funds, I did see different ones. So that is awesome that Tokyo Pop's doing that. And thank you for sharing the news with us so that we can share it to all of you. Then Looking over the chat again, Noah Lara says, I would be S rank and you don't need the ultimate weapon. I am it. Awesome.
More power, more problems, friends. Good luck.
Yeah. And then looking over on upcoming theatrical news, we have news from G-Kids. G-Kids acquires a new theatrical film, Mobile Suit Gundam, and I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
It's GQUUUU. There's like 7 U's and then X.
Beginning.
Not sure how to say that.
Yeah. Well, this is going on the press release to say first ever major collaboration between Evangelion series Studio Kahara and Sunrise, a historic home of the Mobile Suit Gundam animated series. It will be coming to theaters on February 28th. So very soon. So yeah, we don't have to wait long.
End of next month.
Yes, and we will share some of those pictures online, which I'm like, where's my banner? There we go. Check us out over NTATNB. We'll share some of those pictures on our Twitter.
The Gundam design is pretty wild.
I was like, ooh.
And another thing to keep in mind is that one of the writers on this project is Hideaki Anno, who did Evangelion. This is one heck of a collaboration, and it looks super fun.
Yeah, the director is Kazuya Tsurumaki and also did Fooly Cooly. Series supervision and screenplay by Yoji Enokido, who also did Revolutionary Girl Utena, which I'm like, that's also a fun, weird one. So this will be very entertaining. So follow G-Kids for more information and be up to date. Also, always check your local theater listing for times and a lot of them can have it too, where you can get an email notification too, or even like Fandango does it or something.
I know AMC does it as well. So if it's the sort of thing where if you can look in upcoming features and they have it listed, oftentimes you can set it as please notify me when tickets go on sale. Yeah.
Yes.
So there are multiple ways to do this.
All right.
Is there more?
Nope, I was like, that's it.
All right. If you are more interested in having your entertainment at home, you want to see the thing in theaters? We have things at home. Like, you can do both. But Crunchyroll is giving us their Blu-ray release calendar for April 2025. Shangri-La Frontier, Classroom of the Elite, and more. So rolling down this list, the Shangri-La Frontier set looks amazing. Let's be real. So we have Shangri-La Frontier Season 1, Part 2. We have Classroom of the Elite Season 3. And let me just give you the dates. April 1st, not fooling you. April 1st, Berserk of Gluttony, the complete season. April 8th is Shangri-La Frontier Season 1, Part 2 on Blu-ray. One Piece Collection 37, which is episodes 892 to 916. Which, man, One Piece. Dang, I love it. And that is a Blu-ray DVD combo. A Certain Scientific Railgun T on Blu-ray, Chillin' in Another World with Level 2 Super Cheat Powers, the complete season on Blu-ray, and then April 29th is Classroom of the Elite Season 3 on Blu-ray. So we have the first week of the month is extremely front-loaded, and then we also have April 29th. So all of these will be available on Crunchyroll's merch store. Keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for pre-order possibilities. And again, if there is gift giving coming your way for birthdays, holidays, if you're a romantic holiday celebrator and you want to give the gift of anime to your significant other or someone who has a birthday coming or whatever, again, we very much believe in printing out the thing you've pre-ordered, putting it in a card, and gifting it to the person. And over the holidays, I put my money where my mouth was because my dad's gift did not arrive on time. And I printed it out and put it in a box with a rock in it and then gave it to him.
How'd that go over?
Well, the problem was I had rinsed off the rock because it had been outside and it was very porous and the rock was still wet. So the ink ran and the cats were very interested in it. It was a touch disastrous because I didn't plan it well. I was like, that looks like a great rock. That rock is full of holes that retained water. So maybe do a little better than I did on the rock selection part of things. But the information that, yes, we got you the thing you wanted. Yes, it is on its way. Yes, it's shipping from Italy for some godforsaken reason. No, I didn't realize that would be the case. That went over just fine. So Crunchyroll will probably not ship from Italy from some godforsaken reason. It will definitely give you a date. So if you do pre-order things and then give them as gifts, this is a legitimate strategy.
The other thing too is we are firm believers of physical media and owning physical media, because that's what we've learned recently. Things can be taken away, and maybe you don't get them back. So maybe you do, maybe you don't. Which we've also seen that with Disney taking away stuff and going into the vault and whatnot. So physical media, own the thing. Yes.
Own the thing.
Yes. And so then, speaking of owning, get into some soul leveling, owning people.
Oh my God. Can we? I want to talk about Dad for a minute.
Right? I'm like,
I want to start off talking about Dad, because so much of what he said is like on the conspiracy board now. Partially because watching this with my roommate, she's like, I didn't even think about his dad. We were just kind of like, Dad's not in the picture, and we shrugged and moved on.
Yeah, I figured
like,
he
did you
died.
think about Dad?
Nope, not at all. I figured
did they ever mention him in the beginning? I feel like that wasn't even a blip on the radar.
Yeah, Chad, if you recall, let us know. Did they ever mention the dad? I don't remember either. I just felt it was single mom. Either I assumed the dad was dead, or just not in the picture at all. Because there never was like, oh, I resent my father for not being here. Because they never didn't do that plot line whatsoever. So it was the he came back after getting cigarettes.
He went all the way to America for those cigarettes.
So I thought that was no, I did not think about him whatsoever. Did not cross my mind. That was nope. Yeah. So then it was like
So it's just like, all right, who's this guy in the opening with the glowing yellow eyes?
Well, no, I said they mention him. So maybe there's something like briefly, but not enough to make us as viewers go, gosh darn, where is deadbeat dad? Where is he? Like, or something tragic. But or at least if there was, nope.
In terms of timeline, he would have had to go through one of the first gates, because gates started opening 10 years ago, and he's been stuck in one for 10 years. So if he was one of the first hunters that awakened, if he was some poor bastard that just wandered in there and managed to survive, unclear. But
I think he got some powers, so
I don't think he awoke as a hunter, because we saw just one episode ago what two S-ranked hunters going at it has the potential to be. And then in this episode, it was he wiped the floor with this guy immediately and then bailed. So I think he might also be on our level up program. It's wild that he's like, everything we've been seeing is the tip of the iceberg. It's nothing compared to everything else happening. Like, you guys have no idea. There's a calamity coming. Of course, there's always an apocalypse at play. We thought it was going to be giant ants, but no, it's something else. My theory, what we're pinning on the wall here, because he only just came back now. He only just found his way out of an American gate. And let me tell you, watching this subbed and having people speak English is just so funny.
It was weird. Yeah, it was funny.
Because English words get thrown in all the time. They're loan words, they're for emphasis, they're slang, whatever. Like, it's fine. But Yamcha, I wish, man. I heckin' wish. I'm pretty sure that asshole's still alive.
Well, the American warriors. Oh, don't end us! Don't hurt us! And then the dad's like, "Oh no, I just want to go home."
Yeah, the hearing the oh Jesus, it's like that. That to me was really, really funny. I'm like, is that a guy just pull? Oh no, he's meant to be American. And I did like that when we had the American agents talking to each other, like, it was in Japanese because everything's recorded in Japanese, but they structured the names and the sentence structure and the use the way that an American would do it. So instead of using an honorific, it was Mr. So-and-so.
Yeah.
And they also said the name the way Americans would say it, first name, last name. And that actually threw me, because it's like, wait, no, that is wait a minute. Oh my God, he's dad. Like, that actually threw me, but I think that was
also his design,
constructed and a nice detail.
Looks like him, that I'm like, okay, yeah, I see it. The hair color, the design. The American threw me too. Also, I guess I hadn't thought about it, that how around the world this happens. Like, I was thinking more like located in Asia.
In South Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, well, because then they mention Japan, so I'm like, maybe it's like just a little part of the globe that it's happening. And it's like, oh no, it's all the way around the world. So I'm like,
because the fact that Pencil Me In for Murder has been living and working for a hunters association in America for a good chunk of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting back to my conspiracy board, we're talking about the calamity is coming. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. He will kill them and use them against us. The calamity is Jinwoo. That's the theory. This whole player program, this whole everything. We are setting this man up to be a localized apocalypse. Especially with the whole just putting together the necromancer bits and the fact that we did see him straight up murder a man in order to be able to use him to win a fight. Hello, Iron. We love seeing Iron. But also, that's a dead guy. That's not a dead monster. That's not a dead, that didn't come from the game. That is a dead man. So the fact that we have the numbers don't matter, he will subsume them and use them against us. Like, that's the arise power. That is the so yeah, I'm, as far as I'm concerned, like, high localized apocalypse, I'm dad. Like, that's where we are. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep that on the board, and we'll see if / when we ever wind up in that direction. I have no idea. Get interesting. But yeah.
I loved him kicking Pencil Me In for Murder's ass. That
oh
was
my
awesome.
God.
That was so satisfying.
And just seeing, and the conversation afterwards, like, I'd heard about S-rank hunter fights, but I didn't. Thank God it was over so soon. Thank God he just got immediately dunked on, because this could have been so much worse. And again, seeing the S-rank versus S-rank and getting the thank you for holding back so that my arms were still intact from our A-rank guy. And just seeing that immediately the previous episode. And then in episode 3, we have this guy is beyond S rank. He just decimated this dude. Like, you're supposed to be at the top of the food chain, and then someone else wanders in, dunks on you like you're nothing, and leaves. Like, okay, that's cool. Super cool and fun. And of course, he doesn't look menacing in the opening or anything, with a ring on a chain and then the eyes.
Not at all.
I want to go home. Eye glows golden. Like, one fear.
So then I also wonder of how away. So that means he probably doesn't know that his wife's in like medically induced coma thing.
Soap opera coma mode, yes.
Yep. And that his, kids, he hasn't seen them since. I bet his daughter was a baby almost. Well, not a small child.
Probably would have been like 6 or 7.
Yeah, 6 or 7. So like, yeah, little kid.
If she's in high school now and applying to colleges, then she's probably 16, 17. She's applying to.
And then Jinwoo was probably like early high school.
He probably.
Ish. So that will be interesting, which also speaking of Jinwoo, I like the preparedness of I'm going to, practice this dungeon and I'm going to bring food and supplies because we've
marathon sprint.
Yeah.
That is a contradiction in terms. Marathon run. Better.
Well, it is a sprint because he's trying to get through it quickly, but it's a long duration. So sure. No, but it's something that like, again, with the world building in terms of like, we've had people walk into these gates and I'm like, what are you wearing? And you don't know what you're going to fight. Like I would wear something far more combat ready. And so I loved having him have supplies, addressing that he needs to eat and take breaks. Cause it is, I like it when we make it more normalized of a real world scenario of like, well, he can't just keep going consistently. It'd have to be like, all right, I need to stop and eat. And so that was entertaining.
I think for a lot of these gates, because the red gate was such an exception with like the time dilation and whatnot.
They weren't quite right. Somebody wore heels though. And I'm like, girl, no.
No, that's just armor design. I think for most gates, it's an idea of it'll be a day's work. Maybe we will be in and out in this amount of time, depending on the difficulty of the gate, how many people are going in, etc. And that is why the red gate was such a surprise, and no one had the supplies for a long haul because most of your gates aren't gonna be a long haul.
Yeah,
You
but this
come
is like
in with
going on a
your
hike, and
mining
I'm like, I
equipment, your
didn't bring
fighting
water.
equipment, and I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
He knew
it's
that
true.
it was
They're
going to be.
generally day trips. Yes.
Yeah, he knew that his own personal Hellgate was gonna be a long haul, and it
Yes.
was one of those we're going in until we're done sort
Yeah.
of things. So yeah, for that I agree with you in that. I like seeing the supplies. I like seeing the we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna prepare. I don't think it makes other people unprepared in much the same way that you pack a weekend bag differently than you pack for a 2-week vacation.
True.
You know?
Yeah, it's a camping trip for him. True.
Pretty much.
I love riding the bear. That was fun.
I love that the bear's name is Tank.
Yep.
There's an old joke where the punchline is tankety tank, and you bet your ass we were watching this going tankety tank, tankety tank. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I like
it makes
Tank.
sense. He needed a mount. He needed something to ride, and I don't want to just walk the whole way. And here we go, poof, and it was a tank, just knocking things out of the way.
The more unique and powerful ones are the ones that get names.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
it
makes
makes
sense.
sense. Yep.
And we have two of the three. We've got weird accessories, and we're waiting for whatever the third accessory is. And we have 2 of the 3 ingredients for the elixir of life.
Yep.
So we are close. I don't know
there.
how soon we're going to come back around to things. Like the only reason he left was a lack of supplies.
Yeah.
I did like that our floor 75 boss was just we jump scared an undead, and it was
That was funny.
I need a screen cap of that. That was beautiful. Just A+, no notes.
I liked the giant Goblin King, and the how did he move so fast?
I watching it with my roommate. She's like, he reminds me of the Hinox from Breath of the Wild. I'm like, you're right. You're right. You should say it. That is a Zelda boss.
And just I appreciate our hero is Jinnu is the I can kill everything, generally speaking. So I always do still appreciate when he has to stay on his toes of be ready. Because it's like, no, I want him to be surprised. Because again, if he's going to level up, he needs to learn more. And then part of his training is he's completed his work with our young businessman, which I'm like,
I love.
Yes, we love him. He's so adorable.
And also adopted him. Like, yes, you are my little brother now. Like,
yeah. No, Laura's like, I will say I did smile a little bit when Rich was asking Sung, can I be your little brother? And Sung went, yeah, I see his little brother. It's all right. You're good. Yes. That one.
It's like, your family sucks. You're part of mine now.
Yeah.
And
that was so precious.
It was very interesting to see the conversation with Dad, the construction mogul, and seeing that he's got sources that he's not talking about.
Yeah, he's like,
being able to trace this guy, knowing that the White Tiger Guild is prepping to scout him and going, so here's the condition. You bring him in. Like, he is your success condition, so he needs to continue to be your success condition. You want to be the head of this guild, you need him. So Jinnu's going to come back from a week in the dungeon to like 5 job offers. Because we
a few to choose from.
Our scout looking for him and going, well, he's here. He's, was this, and we saw this, and we know that the last trace of him was in the middle of the city. The girl's just like, what? Like, I'm good at my job. Yeah, that's fun. He's fun to watch.
Yes,
he's so fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious because I still feel like Jinnu's more a solo player of not as excited to join a group because I don't think he wants to deal with the restrictions on it, and he also
want
is
the world at large to know
I don't want
what
you
he's
to
doing. The fact that he's the only asshole out here who can level up, like, it is a problem if a lot of people know that. But also, the more powerful you get and the more active you are in these circles, the less secrecy you're going to have.
Yeah, they're going to notice.
There's government regulation, and also everyone is up in everyone else's business. Like, they're going to know.
Yep.
But yeah, for me, the big sticking point of the episode was, hi, Apocalypse, I'm Dad. Like, that was the big one, was Dad showing up and being like, yeah, so it's going to get bad, actually. And also, y'all don't know anything. I'm like, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Can we spend more time with Dad? No, he blew up a building and left. Cool.
Next episode, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Almost jinxed there. Yeah, we hope to know more
The next
and
time we
sooner.
see him, he will have swum the Pacific Ocean and be walking onto the beach in South Korea. I don't know. Probably a different ocean, actually. I think he was in like New York.
Yeah,
I have no
did we
idea.
get a, I don't think we got a
I
location,
don't
did
think we
we?
did. I think we
I
just
don't
got
think we did. It's just,
skyscrapers.
yeah.
And
Yep.
usually skyscrapers of that flavor is indicative of New York, just in terms of
Mm-hmm.
media in general. But like, truly, who knows? I
Yeah.
don't remember. If we did get a location for the gate where Dad was spat out, like, hey, chat, let us know, because I don't remember.
I didn't catch it if they said it either.
I've been too busy making dad jokes. Gonna be straight up real. Sorry, it's funny.
No, it's good. Yeah. If there are other moments that stood out to you in this episode, leave a comment down below. I think that's main things that I felt were important too. I'm excited that we met Dad, and then I'm waiting for them to get back together. Dad and Ginu to get together, and what
That's gonna
that
be an
means.
explosive reunion, especially if I'm right.
Yes, back to your thing of like
I might not.
How is that going to pan out? Yep.
Yeah. I will honestly be surprised if we get that reunion this season. I am expecting a shorter season. I'm expecting another like 13-ish episode season.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting a longer game than that. It's because Hanwha is still ongoing as well. And it's been ongoing for a minute. So we've got a lot more story to go. I'm expecting a longer game for this particular development. We put the piece on the board, but we don't need to necessarily move it yet. I could be completely wrong, and we could have a family reunion next episode. I have no idea.
But that's what's great about this show, because you go, it could go any which way. Good question.
This show truly is like, oh, this is happening now. All righty, let's go.
Yes. So let us know some of the other things that you're excited about going on with the show. Leave comments down below. All right. So then that brings us to other stuff you should check out. I don't know. We're doing theme songs now.
Yeah.
I like.
Why not? Why not?
I was trying to remember stuff that there we go. Physical media, a planner. I'm like, what did I read? What did I watch?
All the notes are on the phone.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So I checked. This is where we tell you about movies, games, shows, whatnot we've checked out that we think you should check out, or occasionally you should avoid. The things that I was like, oh, that was cool. So I finished Silo. They finished season 2. They changed a lot from how the book is. And some of it I'm okay with, and some of it I felt it wasn't as like oomph.
Okay.
But I am curious for viewers, no spoilers, in case anybody has watched it. You can message me directly. I'm curious if you had just watched it, if it would have had the same kind of impact. But having read it, there was a moment in the book that I was just like so excited. Like, that was just so cool. And I felt they kind of achieved it, but it wasn't the same. So I was like, okay. But it's a show that I started watching an interview on something else, and it sounds like there's going to be a season 3 and 4. So
all right,
I will check them out whenever those are out too. But it is Severance is back. That one's still a really fun show and really weird. So that one, you got to watch season 1. Otherwise, you're going to really be like, even then, you're not going to know what's going on.
You'll be less lost if you see season 1.
Checked out the first episode of Black Doves. That's over on Netflix. Interesting so far. It is like mystery, Keira Knightley, and like secret identities, and people have been assassinated, and trying to understand what's going on. So far so good. I'll let you know how it ends, because it's so sick that some shows can start out really good and you're like, where's it going? And then a movie that was pretty cool, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yes.
So Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage one. That is so fun and quirky and just a really good time. So check that one out. That just got added to Netflix, which not sponsored, but hit Netflix if you want to come reach out to us. No,
that is the Nicolas Cage movie about Nicolas Cage. And
yes,
I watched it on an airplane a few years ago. It's
okay,
good
nice
stuff. Yeah, it's fun.
It is very fun. It's just very playful, and yeah, just watch it. It is a satire, it is a comedy, it's a action, and it is very fun. Yeah, check that one out.
Just kick back and have a good time.
Yeah. And what about you, Katie?
I definitely saw Sonic 3 in theaters for the third time this past weekend because
you're all still good.
I am going to be a when that drops on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I truly am. But it's pretty damn great, you guys. Full stop. And it's always fun to see it with an audience and hear kind of the commentary. Favorite bit was the small child who was chatty during the previews, and it's like, it's the previews, whatever. And then the Paramount logo comes up and the movie starts, and he just goes, finally! I'm like, you are my favorite person in this audience right now. And I think you're like 7. Bless you. But yeah, that's a good time. We have been watching a lot of anime. I don't know if I brought up Sakamoto Days.
You did,
and
actually,
episode 2 dropped.
No, Laura agrees with you. Don't forget to check out Sakamoto Days. It's great.
It's a good time. There has been some contention over the animation quality, and on the one hand, like, yeah, I can see it when you're used to Mappa, Trigger, etc., and then you have something where it's like, no, this is fun, but I can also kind of see where they cut a few corners. Like, all right, I get it. But it has been just a joy to watch. 2 episodes so far, Netflix, a great time. I also, Mother's Basement dropped their ones to watch video, so I grabbed a few off of there and went for it. Started watching I can't remember the full name. It's the Red Ranger Isekai. Red Ranger becomes a hero in another world or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very much the Red Ranger from a Sentai or Power Rangers type show gets isekai'd, but he brings like all of his powers and seemingly the genre with him. So he's in this fantasy world, but if he invokes like all the Power Ranger stuff that he can do, it warps the genre around him to work with the Sentai stuff.
Okay.
We're 2 episodes in. It's definitely very zany. Zany is a good word for this.
Yeah. Okay.
And cheesy, but that's the point, truly. So if you are into Sentai, if you are a Power Rangers person, if you are like an OG flavored Sentai person, this is for you. It's fun. It's not, I would put it currently solid 7.5 out of 10. I'm having a good time. The other one that I'm watching where I'm like, this is the literal power of friendship. Yep, that is literally what the show is, and it is a blast. And it's not afraid to kind of hang lampshades on itself when it knows. So yeah, it's a good time. The other one I'm watching that I adore is called Zenshu. And if that's ringing a bell, we've had some press emails from Crunchyroll about it. We've talked about it a little bit on this show in the news section. It is an isekai of an animator who gets isekai'd into the world of her favorite movie. Like, if you've ever saw something young that rewired your brain when you saw it, it's that experience. She gets isekai'd into her favorite. It's a dark fantasy movie. And her weird isekai power is that if she animates something, it comes to life temporarily. So she's seeing this movie, she's seeing all of these things unfold the way she expects. And guys, it's a dark fantasy. There's a lot of tragic elements in here. And her presence alone starts to change how things go and starts to affect things. And I'm watching this going, for one, they've got 80s dark fantasy anime down pat. The character designs, the tropes, the everything, like they know what they're doing here. And they also have a fan who's been a fan of one thing since they were younger. And the way that she knows the property, interacts with it, thinks about it is very much like, oh no, they also have this experience down pat. It all is very genuine. It's one of those things where I'm watching it and going, this can go one of 2 ways. There's no way this show ends in mediocrity, not with the way they're approaching it. And guys, it's beautiful. Mappa is pulling out all the stops. It looks amazing. It's either going to hard left turn and tank, or it's going to be amazing and it's going to have an ending that I'm thinking about months later. It can go one of 2 ways. And I'm very much putting all of my eggs in this is going to be amazing and this is going to wreck me basket, because I'm sincerely hoping that that's what happens. But yeah, watch Zenshu. We're 3 episodes in. It's on Crunchyroll, and it has been amazing so far. This is one of those, if I had the whole series, I would have just done the whole thing this past week. Just gone torn through it. But yeah, we're on a week-to-week release, and I believe it's simulcasting. So yeah, your takeaway from this should be watch Zenshu. It's really good.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Looking over the chat, Gigadark says, I've completed Sonic Frontiers 100%. Why did I do that
Why
to myself?
did you do that to yourself? Oh my God.
Still
Are you okay? Is that the reason that you're still dead? That you 100%ed Sonic Frontiers, you mad lad? Did you 100% the DLC? Because that's even crazier. Sir, what an achievement.
Still liking Red Ranger Isekai and Sonic 3 on digital tomorrow, physical in April.
Yeah, I'm going to be a menace.
Untitled on Purpose says, I started playing Metaphor, Fantasio this past week, and I'm really liking it so far. It's like Persona, also made by Atlas, but in fantasy setting. Ooh,
all right,
very cool.
Huh. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Gigaderek says, yes, I had the time. Oh.
So for those going, what does that mean? The Sonic Frontiers DLC had a difficulty curve that did this. So like, wow. Damn, dude. Take a break. Your thumbs must be killing you. Well done on your achievement. Holy cow. One fear. Man.
Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar. And a huge thank you again to our guest, Cory Yee. And go follow him online. We had that at the beginning of the show in case you were like, wait, what was the name again? It's just the name with the handle. But, you know, if you need to see it. And, and actually it's in the description below. I'll have that there. And make sure to follow here on the Fanversation channel on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed, give the video a thumbs up, and get the notification bell because, again, we are approaching season of events coming up soon. So you want to be up to date on when new videos are coming out. And over on Twitter, NTATMB. And Katie, where can people find you online?
You can follow me all over the social medias, including Blue Sky and YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. While we're talking about Sonic, definitely dropped a huge Sonic 3 video there. Part of it is spoiler-free, the rest of it is not, so you can watch it regardless of whether you've seen the movie or not. I am also on a horror channel called Silver Screams, where my roommate and I talk about horror stuff. I mentioned that Remedy Trilogy video. That is up. That is over 2 hours long. We went for it talking about Alan Wake 2, and Control. So if you are into that, you want to see us talk for just a good long while and make so many jokes about these games that we burned through in 2024 and adored, that is over on the Silver Screams YouTube.
Nice. And wait, there it is. Yep. Y'all can find me online at Carrie D. Lane on all social media platforms. And I did just post a new one on my TikTok because I wasn't sure if it's still around. And then I'm like, can I post this? And I did, and we shall see. But I generally post those on Instagram as well. I do have a YouTube that I've been meaning to ramp up a bit more. It's probably that signal to start getting more things over there. But yeah, you can find us on there. Also, Fanversation is on all social media platforms too. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching us live. If you watch later, awesome. Comment down below. Gigadark did respond saying, they do.
They do.
Referring back to the game. And yeah, thank you everybody again for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.